Good afternoon. My name is Jamal Whited. I am the owner and operator of ATLwebradio.com here in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been broadcasting live on the internet a little over 10 years at this point, and we have over 17 million hits to our website. Currently, we offer a live audio and live video stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And what we're going to do now is simply take you into the basics on how to set up an internet radio station. Not internet radio show, not internet playlist, but an internet radio station. As you can see, we are currently in the ATL Web Radio station, located here in Jonesboro, Georgia, at 194 Jonesboro Road, Suite E1 in Jonesboro, Georgia. Again, we're going to go through some of the basics. I'm going to define what some of these things are so that you as the potential internet radio station builder will have it all under wraps. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of things first, and these are the integral parts of streaming live on the internet. Number one, if you'll come back around here with me, what we have here is we have a basic internet radio setup, which includes a server machine, which streams all the music up to the internet. We also have a player machine, which is used to play the music that is streamed to the internet. We have the normal peripherals for a computer, including the mouse, keyboard, monitor, and we also have a tricky little box that we went and found, known as a KVM switch. A KVM switch gives us the ability, and it's sitting right here. That's this little bugger right here. The KVM switch essentially allows us to plug in the keyboard, the monitor, the keyboard, and the mouse to the switch, and then to send the signal for all three of those to two machines. There are all types of KVM switches. You can actually share it to several different machines, sharing one keyboard, video, monitor that is, and mouse. And you can actually set it where you can switch among several different machines. Now, some of the outboard gear for the internet radio is going to include a couple of good external hard drives, which we have here. I have a big passport and a small passport. We also utilize the microphones to do live input from a on-air personality, and as well we have the mixer, which allows us to mix the audio from the microphones and with the music being played from the player machine prior to it entering the server machine. And now we're going to get to the fun part, how to hook all this stuff up. First and foremost, we're going to make the average computer connection. That means connecting our power, our keyboard, our video, which is our monitor, and our mouse, to each one of these machines. And that's what I'm going to do for you here now. I have already had it set up to where we have the mouse and the keyboard and the monitor plugged into the console here. Now, going out to PC number one, which is the PC that we have here on the left. What we're going to do is we're going to connect the mouse, the keyboard, and the monitor. So that will give us a video connection here. Always want to tighten your screws up so that someone with busy feet doesn't knock anything loose. And then we're going to take our mouse and our keyboard and get them plugged in there. Okay? Along with your power, and of course, you have to have the internet connection. We have a 100 megabit Category 5 network cable here that allows us to plug in from the internet. Now, some other very handy things to have for your internet radio station is a router that allows for you to send internet signal to several different computers at once. One of the things that you have to have in building an internet radio station is an internet connection, and that's what comes here from our Comcast business class router slash modem, DSL modem, and broadband modem, should I say, in this scenario. And what it allows us to do is to make sure that all the machines in this station are online. Now, what I normally like to do is to dedicate a network cable that comes from, what I like to do is dedicate a network cable that comes directly from the router to your main server machine, which is the machine that we just got finished connecting over here. ATL Web Radio. Michelle is not in right now, but she will be around 7. Is there a message that I can take for her? Okay, Artist Poetic, and you have a new single. I will have her call you concerning that new single as soon as she steps back into the office, around 6:30. Not a problem. You have a great day. Okay, goodbye. It always helps to have the phones ringing. People checking on new music and how to get it played on ATL Web Radio. Now, the next thing we're going to do is connect our second machine here. In this scenario, we're going to first connect our power. Then we're also going to connect our PC2, monitor, mouse, and keyboard. Okay? And that's going to allow for us to have video to be shared from this machine as well as the machine that we initially hooked up on that same monitor, keyboard, and mouse. Okay, keyboard, mouse. Now we're connected. Now we have two computers that are on and running. And what we're going to do is we're going to get on back over here and turn both of these guys on and take a look at what we have on the other side of the plug. And we'll give them just a little bit of time. While they're firing up, what we're going to do is as well talk about some of the components that we're going to be loading up on these machines to get the internet radio up and running. We're also going to discuss some of the connections that have to be made. At this point in time, what's taking place is we've connected two machines to the KVM switch, which allows us to share the monitor, the keyboard, and the mouse for both machines. Now what we have to do is set up so that all this outboard gear goes into the player machine and then from the player machine into the server. So we're going to get started with that now. The very first part of setting up your internet radio station, once you have your machines on, is installing a program that's going to allow you to serve your music to the internet. What I have found to be one of the easiest programs and as well a free program to utilize is Shoutcast. Shoutcast.com is the website that you would go to. And what you would need to do is first download the Shoutcast DNAS server. In this scenario, we're not going to download it here because we have an alternate scenario, but for the most part, you want to set up for people that are directly serving their music from their radio station without any stream host, they would directly stream from the machine that set the shoutcast on. And what that would mean is to go to shoutcast.com and from shoutcast.com, where we will go to is the broadcast location. Broadcast now. And broadcast now is right here on the top menu bar. Once that's clicked, you would actually go into a page here that gives you information about the DNAS 2.0 YP platform, which is a very good platform for broadcasting music. It gives a very good signal to internet, to computers and cell phones around the world. Now, the average scenario, the normal scenario, if you're going to stream yourself, is to download the DNAS server. I recommend, based on the amount that bandwidth costs through different internet service providers from Bell South to Comcast, that the very best way to achieve streaming your music to the internet would be to arrange an account with a stream hosting service. You have several of them out there. Two notables that I have used in the past are Web Radio Central, and now we use spatialnet.com. But what we're going to do from this point here is we're going to go ahead and download the DSP plugin for Winamp. The DSP plugin for Winamp is the essential for someone that's utilizing an outboard stream hoster. And that's what we do here at ATL Web Radio. And that's what this demonstration is going to perform, is going to show you today. You would, of course, save it to your hard drive. And once it's saved, you would run it on your hard drive. Okay? Now, after it's saved and ran, this is what the Shoutcast DSP looks like. Okay? The no soft Shoutcast source. You also want to, prior to installing that, or shortly after installing that, is to go and download Winamp Player. And that's simply done over at winamp.com. I hit the wrong button there. Over on winamp.com, there's a free download for the Ultimate Media Player. Okay? And you want to download the Winamp Media Player first. And after downloading the Winamp Media Player, then you want to go back and download what I just showed you, the Shoutcast DSP source. Now, once all that's been accomplished, you will have an arrangement that looks similar to this, because you're going to set the source to be the DSP plugin for your Winamp Player. The way that you would do that is, and I'm going to bring that back for you so you can see, you would go into, you would right click or go into your options and then go into your preferences. Inside your preferences, you would simply scroll down to plugins and then DSP effect, and then make sure that the DSP plugin is selected and then hit close. And you saw my DSP box come back up here. Now, from this form here, you have the ability to connect to the internet via this connection applet, and it allows you to connect directly to whoever your stream host is. And as I stated, a couple of notables, Web Radio Central, and as well, spatialnet.com. Spatialnet is who ATL Web Radio currently uses. Now, what I recommend for the beginner internet radio station is for you to get a test stream. to verify that everything is up and running. Once you do that, you can go in, get a quote for maybe 20 or 30. I think SpectrumNet gives a minimum of 20 simultaneous listeners. That means that 20 people will be able to log in and listen to your music or radio stream online simultaneously. After that, what takes place is the 21st person would bump the first person, 22nd the second, and so on and so forth. But what I would originally and what I would initially recommend is for you to go in and set up so that you can do the basic free streaming trial, which allows you to stream to 5 concurrent listeners at 128 kilobits per second for a 24-hour period. Once you go through that and get your account all set up, what will take place is they will provide you with a login and a password that will allow for you to enter your account. And I'm typing too fast today. But once you get logged into your account, it'll look something like this, and it'll give you your station ID and your services, and then underneath your services, you want to go and go to view and edit on your services for what you have set up. Okay, so under view and edit, it gives you a live streaming version of what's going on with your music, including a status that lets you know it's live, a listen link that you can transfer to all different types of online media players, web interface page which allows you to basically visualize the status of your server, very similar to this, and your host information along with port, station ID, stream ID, and your passwords and so forth, and account name. Now, what all this information does is allows you to plug in to your Winamp Shopcast source. So first, it asks you for address. So we go over and grab the address from the host, copy that, and paste that into the address location. Next, we will go over to where the port number is visible, and the port there we see is 80. We transfer that information into the port number there, and then it also asks for a stream ID, and that is visible here inside of our account details, and we'll go ahead and place the stream ID. From there you would post as well your admin and your encoder password, your admin user ID and your encoder password, and then you would select to make the server public, along with selecting an encoder type. And what we normally use here is the MP3 encoder, and what we're currently utilizing MP3 encoders for when you're playing MP3s across, and that's the standard for new music at this point in time. So that's why we go with the MP3 encoder. We also would make sure that any artwork would be available, so a person tuning in on a cell phone or on one of the media players that show visualizations for artwork, so that all that can be visible for each one of our artists. We make sure we select to send and stream artwork and send artwork from the playing file if available. We also set up so that we can enable logging of the status, this connection status, so we can have a full-time understanding of what is connected and so forth. Now, with that being done, we would simply utilize the connect button. But we're not going to connect just yet, because now we have to make sure that all of our outboard gear is properly connected to our computer. Okay? So we're going to get back up and go back around to the back side of our computers. Again, this is Internet Radio Construction by yours truly, the Cyber DJ CK. Follow me on Twitter at Cyber DJ CK. Also, you can follow ATL Web Radio at ATL Web Radio on Twitter. Okay? Now, we're going to go down here to the part where we get the music out of our computer. Already established, we have that this is our server machine, that this is our player machine, and it is in position number 2 on our KVM switch, and this is our server machine, which is in position number 1 on our KVM switch. Now we're going to connect our music. The music is played from the player machine, which means that we're going to take the music out of the player machine and take it into our mixer, and then out of our mixer into our server. And the way that works is very simply this. A good friend of mine a couple of months ago showed me this little Behringer U-control, which allows for you to connect an RCA input and output for your player machine. That's going to simply plug in into a USB port on your player machine. I recommend utilizing the back ports of your machine, the ones that are connected to the hard drive, to the main board, so that you can get the most distinctive connection, the best connection, should I say. Now what we're going to do is, coming out of this, because this is where our music will be playing to. This goes in and it automatically syncs with our computer and becomes an additional sound card. So we're going to come from our sound card via the RCA now. Okay? We're going to come out of our sound card and go in to our input RCA on our Behringer mixer. Okay? In case you never realized, I like to use Behringer product because Behringer makes good product. Now, we're going to go in to the input on the CD tape side, which will be right here. Boom and boom. Already connected and configured, you have microphone number 1, microphone number 2, and microphone number 3 there sitting beside it. Okay? We won't worry about what line 5, 6 is right now, but we will reconnect in a few to show you the usefulness of it. Now, we've gotten our music to come from the player machine, and it's coming from the player machine to the mixer. Now, we have the ability to, while music is being played from the player machine, to be able to talk over the music through our microphones. Okay, we have that ability now. Only problem is now the music isn't going anywhere because it's not coming out of the mixer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a cable that's going to come out of our mixer. Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute this so you guys can hear everything as it goes into action. Okay, now let's have a little. Got something playing there. Let's go ahead and get something playing here so we know when we've made connection. Okay, now I've got my 1 amp playing from my player machine. Okay. Now the trick is to get the music out of the player machine back to the server so that everybody around the world can hear it. So what I'm going to do now is come out of the RCA output on the CD tape side of my mixer, and I'm going to take this cable that's coming out and take this cable into my line in on my sound card for the server machine. Okay? So that's going to go on the server machine on the line in, which is normally depicted by a blue don't know if you can see it there, but it's normally depicted by blue. Normally your pink on your desktops is the microphone in, your green is your speaker out, and your blue is your line in. So we're going to go to the line in into our server. Now our music is coming from our player through our sound card addition from Behringer into our mixer, out of our mixer back to our server machine to the line in. Now, for the average person saying, okay, you just made a connection, how come I don't hear any music? Two reasons. Well, actually just one reason. The reason why is that at this point we have to connect our speaker that I actually have on this Y adapter, because we actually have two outputs going. We have the music going out for our video side, which we'll get into a lot later, and I'm going to leave that one unplugged. But we also have it going to this is our speaker connection. So we're going to take this and go into our green. And now that we connected it to our green, I'm going to turn up the volume here. We should hear a little something. Okay, now that is the connection from our speaker going out. What's taking place here is I'm taking music into my server, and now I have a monitor, so to speak, with my speakers that come out. Now, everything's connected, everything looks good, but we have to go back to the computer side now to make sure that all of our readings and that our meters are showing for a true connection. So now, what we're going to do is visualize on our mixer what's going on. We have music coming from our player machine, which is our main mix, which means if I turn this up or down, it's going to affect the sound. And we're going to check that out real quick. Okay, so this right here is now we got a turn dial for the music coming out of our player machine. This is our music coming out of our player machine. If you'll see, the levels are actually going up higher the higher I turn it up. Okay, I'm going to bring it back down to right at 12 o'clock, which is my standard. And that was just to demonstrate to you that we have a control now here on top of the desk for the music coming out of our player machine. Now we got to make sure it is going to our server machine properly. And we're going to switch back over on our KVM. And I think the very easiest way to check to see if your music is coming through is to bring up your DSP source, your shoutcast encoder here, and to go over to the input tab and switch it over to line in. Line in is going to turn on the music inside of our server machine. And we'll know if it turns it on because we'll start getting a input level, and we'll start to see our meter fluctuate. And there we go, our meter started fluctuating. Now, very, very key. Whenever Winamp source DSP encoder switches to line in, it automatically goes to the sound card and turns the line in all the way down to 0, which would mean that you would have to go to your sound, double click on your volume buttons, go to your line in. If it's not already visible, you go to your options, go to your properties, and make sure you select line in for playback, which we have selected here. Click OK, and then you want to turn your line in back up. And then you'll see your meter fluctuate as to the level that you have going in from your player machine. This is your control of your player machine inside the server, because we connected it to the server on the line in. Okay, so I always like to recommend that you don't have it maxed out to where it's steady. The level is all the way up. I like to normally bring it down to where I see those meters fluctuate just a little bit, about to something like that. Now, it doesn't sound very loud right now because I have the monitor for the room turned down. But I can turn it up and you can see it's a nice, comfortable level. Not too loud. And that's all the way up. That's all the way up. On the room level. Okay, of course, based on this line in, I can turn it up higher. Bring it back down. Okay? So, my whole thing again, the importance of this is to show you that we want our input levels not to be maxed out. As they are right now, it's about perfect. Okay? So, what we're going to do now is, now that we have that set up and going, and we have the input going, okay, we can minimize this and switch it back over to our player. Now, we also have volume controls in our player that go back and forth. Okay, I normally keep that set between 50 and 60. That's my player volume for on-air music airplay. If you're doing talk over, sometimes I would recommend bringing it down to as low as 10%, which will be about to right there, give you the ability to talk over at a rate of actual talk over as opposed to at a rate of actual talking through as opposed to talking over. And we'll test out our microphone, make sure everything's connected. Make sure we get our sound up so we can be in here. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Now, you don't hear me very loud right now, but I know that my sound is going through because I can observe my meter here. Okay? My meter there lets me know that my sound is going through just fine. Okay? So what I'm going to do next then is to take you back over here to the player. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go to an external machine that is going to test our stream to make sure that what we're playing is being heard around the world. And what we'll do is now is we'll go to another machine over here. I guess my walk around town will utilize for our drops. So right now I'm going to give a special shout out to my main man Kirk. Follow him on Twitter at KirkWork. Kirk's doing a lot of big things when it comes to independent artists. He's representing a lot of artists on the street representation style, as well as internet promotions, street level promotions, and then as well Kurt is working with several artists on the artist development level and placement. So I definitely want to holler at my man at KirkWork, and that's Kirk on Twitter. Make sure you check that out. Now, we're going to go ahead and log into a machine here. And we are going to attempt to listen to ATL Web Radio because we have everything set up now. What I recommend normally to test your sound is to have a listen link somewhere on a document that you can click in or paste into one of your online media players. Or just go to the homepage of atlwebradio.com and click on Listen Live Now. All that works the same. Also, you want to keep in mind that we're working in the virtual age now when it comes to this internet radio. So there's no antennas that have to be put up outside or any of that sort of good stuff. Okay, now, myself, I normally keep ATL Web Radio on another machine just to be able to monitor, so I'm just going to double click on it and make sure I hear what's going on ATL Web Radio. Oh, I forgot one very, very important thing. While we were doing the setup and the taking down and building up of everything, I enabled a second machine to actually stream, so I have to stop the stream on this machine, which will be disconnecting there, and start it on this machine, because that's what we never did, was start it up over here. And we'll go ahead into here and connect. Okay, now we're connected here. Now, another very good thing about Shopcast is if it doesn't get a reading, it won't play. It'll disconnect you. So what I'm going to do here again is to make sure I got a reading, and I think I got my volume down too low here. Yeah, I do. Okay, so we're going to bring this up to about there. So now you see it'll stay connected because it actually has music coming through it. Very good thing, because it'll make sure that the music's not going anywhere unless you actually are sending it somewhere. So that's a very good thing, because as you saw, when the volume was all the way down, it wouldn't stay connected. Now we are connected, and we should be able to go over to this other machine over here and listen to this instrumental Futures record, Same Damn Time. I'm going to turn it all the way down, and then I'm going to come over here and click the play button. Very good thing, because it'll make sure that, and then you even hear my voiceover before I turn the microphone down. It's just coming through. It's a bit of a delay, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, but it works just fine for relaying messages to people all over the world. Music, talk, public service announcements. It gets the word out on several different levels. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back down. Okay, and I'm also as well going to stop it, because at this point we have showed you how to connect and set up an internet radio station. We got several more of these that's going to be coming soon, so be on the lookout. This is going to be broken down for YouTubers, news streamers, and all the like. So definitely make sure you check it out. And any questions you may have, feel free to call myself, Jamal Whited, at 404-437-1287. I repeat, that's 404-437-1287. Or you can drop me a line at djck@atlwebradio.com. Tune in or be tuned out.